This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
Welcome back, Power Trip Morning Show. The Avengers have assembled. Maxo's here, Creasel's here, Leber's here, and Mussey's here. And
why'd you
the golf bet worked.
You like shook your head like, I don't know if I really want to introduce
Well, the
him,
golf bet all worked out for you. You didn't want to do it, and you didn't lose any money.
This is true. And my guy Rom, who completely fell apart.
He exhausted.
Well, honestly, let's look at the live guys in the last two majors. They absolutely S the bed on Sunday.
You want to talk
and even DeChambeau yesterday started to lose it. They just can't play the 4 days of golf because they're not used to it.
The guy who could care less when it comes to anything that isn't live golf is Dustin Johnson.
Oh,
Dustin Johnson finished.
Did he just mail it in or what? I didn't even hear his name.
I didn't either. Yeah, but Koepka also just gave it up. Don't care.
Yeah, Koepka finished like plus 5 or 6. I think Dustin Johnson was like plus 8 or 9.
Koepka was plus 9.
Yeah, they just don't.
Yeah.
What do they care? They made all the money. What do they care? Those live guys, man, it's weird because like we do that bet and everybody's. Hold on, Dustin Johnson finished plus 12.
Goo.
Plus 12.
Ouch.
He doesn't. What's he care?
Jesse Polk would.
Jesse Polk would shoot better than that.
The best, though, was when, I don't know if you guys saw this, I think it was on Saturday, Rom, he just completely tugs one to the left.
Oh, yeah. Ta-da!
Yeah. You're a pull.
Guy sitting there.
Didn't know my name was Rom.
Guy sitting there beyond the ropes. It hit the guy in the head.
Yeah.
In the head.
Brilliant. Great film. Outstanding film.
Hits him in the head. And it ricocheted off of his head and went all the way across, like 65 feet across the green, and ended up in the garbage on the other side. And I was laughing my ass off. Because, I don't know, have you guys ever been hit by a golf ball?
No.
Have you ever hit somebody with a golf ball?
Creasel has never sustained any kind of horrible injury.
That's true. Yep. I've almost been hit like 20 times, though. I can't. Yeah, because you can't get out of the way. And so I have to make a quick, like, am I going left? Am I going right? I will hit the grass, just boom.
Yeah.
And then hit the grass.
Yeah. There is nothing
jazz
better
cabbage.
Yep.
than, I mean, I don't want to hit somebody. I mean, it has happened, but listening to the story that person tells and then making them tell the full story. So what were you doing? Well, I was sitting there on the 18th fairway. I probably had a smile on my face. having a great day, laughing with my buddies, and then all of a sudden, wham! I got hit. Where'd you get hit? And then they have to explain the whole thing. Yeah. It's hilarious to me. I'm sorry, that's a weird thing. I love when people fall and when people get hit by golf balls.
You're mean, man.
Yes.
Wow.
You're a son of a bitch.
Are you high?
No.
Is this why you keep inviting me to go golf?
Yeah, we got to talk about June weekends here.
Yeah. Really.
Yes. Yep.
So the golf bet was great because Scotty Scheffler's an absolute machine, man. He's the third player. Hold on, I have it written down here. He's the third player to win by 3+ strokes in his first 3 majors since 1983 when Seve did it.
And the key is, it's almost like the Timberwolves. He has yet to play his best round.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he came back from that weird injury, that pasta making injury.
Yeah, I think he was drinking too much.
Where he broke the glass. And,
a little bit too much, probably jazz
surgery.
cabbage. Yeah. But we'll do the news now with Mexo, thanks to our friends at the St. Paul Saints.
This is KFAN News with Chris Hockey, presented by the St. Paul Saints.
Hey, Max Fuller here in for Chris Hockey. This seems like something, I don't know if this is a band that Hawk would have liked, but this seems like something that he would have enjoyed. The All-American Rejects played a surprise show in a Minneapolis bowling alley over the weekend. The All-American Rejects played a pop-up show at the Memory Lanes Bowling Alley in South Minneapolis, a show that was only announced hours before the band took the stage on Friday. I believe it's like this kind of like house party kind of thing that they've been doing. They're trying to do smaller pop-up shows all around the country, so they popped up at Memory Lanes in South Minneapolis.
They have some bangers.
Yeah. I think all of us are, though, maybe not Maxo, but I'm at that age where even if, like, the Dave Matthews Band was like, hey, we're doing a pop-up show, I'd go, is there a line? Like, I don't want to. What time? 9?
No,
too late.
Or you're already at the bowling alley and you're like, there's a meat raffle. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Well obstructing all of this.
Yes. I was waiting for the bacon. Yeah.
It's
meat
raffles. Bowling team night. Yeah.
Meat raffles are outstanding.
I love meat raffles.
Yeah, so
I don't think that I would have even really cared that much if I was in that bar. I don't know if I would have noticed. First of all, I would have heard the songs and said, oh, I know this song.
Maybe cover band.
Yeah.
Thinking that.
I would just think that it's this cover band because I don't know them by face. I wouldn't look over at the stage and be like, oh, that's Tim on lead vocals.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
I would just think it's some cover band over. Like, okay, that's cool. Let's keep playing. They'd be like, nobody cares about us anymore because nobody came over to the stage. Everybody just thought we were a karaoke band. No.
It was packed. I couldn't believe, like, there were people I follow on social media that went, and I'm like,
so there was
God.
Was there a heads up then? Like,
I think it was just a couple hours.
Okay.
Oh, there was a heads up?
Yeah.
That helps then at least.
See, I thought they just jumped up on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously have an agreement with the bar that they're at, and then just start playing,
right,
and then just have everybody come flocking to them.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you're sitting there knuckle deep in one of the balls.
What the hell do you do at the bar?
You're bowling at the
bar.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. You're just like, what is going on?
Yeah, what are you? All right.
He's coming out of the gates hot this morning.
You are. You're hot, Musk.
Oh, you've never been knuckle deep in a ball?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Just one Midwestern city sits among the 15 that grew the fastest from July 2023 to July 2024. It is Rosemount, Minnesota. Almost all exclusively southern cities, except for Rosemount, Minnesota, is the 9th fastest growing city in the U.S., according to the U.S. government.
Wow.
The Irish.
Yeah. They beat my 14-year-old's baseball team yesterday. Punks.
Bastards.
I feel like
good.
When my previous stepkids played baseball, I feel like Rosemount was always very good as well.
I don't know.
It's
like some good sports teams,
just a powerhouse.
Yeah,
for
they
some reason.
they could all hit, all of them, top to bottom lineup. I'm like, these guys can hit. We hung with them for a little while, and then they just kind of blew us away. And then like 5th and 6th inning.
No.
Yeah.
And then you sat on your phone and watched something else?
No,
really?
No,
yeah. You stayed, okay.
No, baseball tournaments are great on the nice weather day.
Yeah.
Just get the folding chair, some sunflower seeds.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Take it
My
all
kid
in.
was pitching. He pitched the first 3 innings, so you're definitely engaged.
You're
at that. Yeah, you're locked in.
That's the most stressful.
Oh, it's the worst. Yeah, it's like I'm like a goalie's parents over there, just pacing around, trying to figure out what pitch he's going to throw next. Don't throw this one. No. So
yelling at the ump.
You want to call timeout and just go up to the mound and talk to him.
I know. I do have a hard time. I'm catching myself. I don't want to be that dad, but sometimes I just can't stop myself. But I will be that dad that kind of walks over to this side of the fence by the dugout, and then like in between innings, like, hey, come here. What was happening over there? Yeah. Okay, like all right. Give him a little little pep talk. I know he didn't love it. No. Yeah. Especially yesterday, he did not love it. I never thought I'd be that guy, but.
You're that guy.
I can't. I'm not like yelling from the stands.
Right.
But you're not contradicting what the coach
You're
says.
not fighting dad from the other team. Like Randy Marsh.
Not at all.
But swearing at the ump.
Yeah.
But see, my dad was completely hands off. Like it didn't matter if we played well or played bad during the game. He wouldn't even talk to us until after the game was over. But during the game, I can't stop myself sometimes just walking over and be like, hey man, next time you go up there, it's like little coaching. It's like advice. It's not
because
like
you know him personally, like the coach probably doesn't.
Yeah, and I would love to coach if I had the time, but I don't want to coach.
No.
Yeah.
So it's more like coaching like tidbits than it is like a parent that's like getting on a kid. You know?
Yeah. Well,
sometimes they need to hear from their dad, though. That's something that's good. Where it's like the coach will say, so it's not a bad thing.
No, but I know
the ones that will be saying, yeah, your coach might have told you this, but here's what you need to do.
No. But I also know from his standpoint, like he's at an age where he knows when he does something wrong or he knows when he did something well, right? I don't need to go over there and like tell him anything. Mm-hmm. But I can't stop myself. I can't.
I see that.
The Brody had Derek Scherer from the St. Paul Saints.
Yeah, great dude.
Great dude. As one of the coaches. And he'd go up there and after the game, I'd be like, so what did he say? And it would be like stressful, bases loaded, nobody out. Brody goes in, mows him down. And I'm like, what did he tell you when he went out to the mound? Oh, he told me a joke or something. Just nothing baseball, just to calm him down. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But yes,
Derek's the best.
He is the best. But how stressful that is, I'm like, I don't miss that part of it.
No.
Yeah. It's hard not to be that dad sometimes, though.
Yeah.
You just want the best for your kid. It's not even trying to just like be that guy. It's like you just want the best for your kid and make sure that they're in the right headspace. My dad didn't even watch Mike. I was on the B team. He'd go watch the A team.
He's like, I'm going to go watch good baseball.
Right? Yeah. I'm like, Dad, did you see that catch? He's like, the A team looked phenomenal. Yeah. They were great.
Mr. T and all them?
Oh yeah. He loved it when a good plan came together. He couldn't resist. 10 inmates escaped from a jail in New Orleans on Friday and taunted the prison guards on their way out. On the wall above the hole they slipped through, they wrote, "Too easy, LOL," but they did they used the wrong two.
Oh, well,
and they're still at large right now, as far as I know. It's a fourth straight day that they're still at large. 7 of the 10 men remain out and about.
Small grammatical error, but they escaped.
Yeah,
God doesn't give with both hands.
Yeah. So they got what's that called? They got punctuation policed by somebody or grammar policed by somebody on their way out of prison.
Yeah, right.
I like though that they
had that kind of time.
Yeah.
They had that kind of time leaving that they're like, hold up. We can actually write up on this.
That's very cocky.
That is, yeah.
Well, which two did they use? TWO or just TO?
It didn't say.
Or just the number 2?
I think just the number 2.
That would be amazing. Yeah. Just the number 2.
That would be
there's a big difference. If they just didn't add the second O, that's like, all right.
That's less egregious.
That's the less egregious. If they did TWO, it's like, whoa.
But they had the argument where they're sitting there and the one guy's like, dude, it's TOO.
Right.
What is wrong with you? And the whole way they just walked away just arguing about, wait, is it
you're escaping from jail, you idiots.
Those are the 3 guys that got caught.
Correct. Chris, you got to go?
One more segment.
All right. We'll do a bunch of sports. We'll get everybody's opinion on that, and I'll finally tell you about the great thing I found at Costco after an hour and a half tease. Bye.
The Fan. Ever notice your dog slowing down and having health issues and wonder, what can I do to make them better? Well, my friend, add Rough Greens to your dog's food for 90 days, and I guarantee you'll see changes that will amaze you. Greetings. Naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, inventor of Rough Greens here, and I invite you to give your pup the Rough Greens 90-day challenge. In the first 30 days, you'll see shinier coats and increased energy. By day 60, your dog will have a stronger immune system, less shedding, improved joint function, all due to the live nutrients that you've added to their diet. And at 90 days, better digestion, reduced inflammation, improved heart health, and you may even have reduced their cancer risk. Fetch your dog a free Jumpstart trial bag today. Go to tryroughgreens.com. Use promo code TRYROUGH. That's TRYRUFF. Go to tryroughgreens.com. Use promo code TRYROUGH. You discover the shipping. You don't have to change your dog's food to improve your dog's health. Just add a scoop of Rough Greens.
New app. The Power Hour will be live at 8 a.m. and you can stream it at KFAN.com/watch to catch all of the action.
Welcome back. We were just having a wicked Costco chat during the break. I love Costco. We held off for a long time on Costco.
And then my guy.
And
we're
my
not members.
Yeah, my wife was always like, why do we need to join Costco? It's just the two of us.
Yeah.
You get we went to Costco on Friday in the rain with Louis. I mean, it's Mad Max in there, but I love Costco. You go in there and you're like, I never knew I needed 12 pounds of tortellini, and now I have it. But we were walking through it, and it's all, you got to know the pattern that is Costco, right? Like, half the stuff's all over here, but it's like that on purpose, right? It's a maze, so you walk through all through it, right?
The milk is always in the back.
It's always in the back. Yep. The dog food that we always need, the
meat department,
all of it. And by the way, their chicken wings that they sell pre-cooked, 10 out of 10. The rotisserie chicken, 10 out of 10.
Yes. Okay, you're killing me right now because my wife and I, we sit there and just look at everybody else and how other people
You should get it.
Do it.
Yeah, you got to get one, Muss. Join the crowd.
The gas.
Here is the professional advice I will give, though. I set a stopwatch when I walk in, and I try to get out of there in under 15 minutes. Otherwise, I will be broke. Because you'll walk in and, like we're talking about there, you're going there for steaks.
Are you getting in line in 15 minutes? Because sometimes, especially this one here in St. Louis Park, I mean, there's no way that you're getting in and out
line, in line in 15.
Standing in line, ready to check out in 15 minutes.
Where I can't spend more money.
I like that.
Because I will go in there, like we're talking about off air. I'll go in there for steaks.
Yeah.
And I'll leave with an inflatable house.
Yeah.
Or something for Chloe. Or I'll be like, and my wife will be like, we don't need more toys. She doesn't play with the toys she has. I'm like, I went to Sam's Club a few weeks back. And I go, their steaks are the best. That's where I think Sam's is better than Costco is the prime steaks. I walked by this arcade machine. I regretted all day not getting it because it has all the classics, Burger Time, all those.
Burger Time, A+.
Went home that evening, had a few cocktails. Ordered it.
Yep.
And now we have an arcade in our basement. But that is another example of what. And I broke my 15-minute rule because I was at home and I ordered it. That's outside the 15 minutes.
Yeah, but drinking and opening up the laptop is really dangerous.
Yeah, drinking and retail therapy.
Elite.
Yeah.
It's so
Sometimes
fun.
you start the drinking so you can enable the retail therapy later on.
I kind of did it because I knew then that any inhibition I had was going to be gone.
I have 2 legacy bricks outside of U.S. Bank Stadium because,
2 of them.
Well, yeah, because of the drinking and
what did they
the laptop open on there. I got the big ones too with the logo on there.
Just called.
Wow.
No, I asked first, and they were like, "No, we're not going to just give you one." I'm like, "Oh, that sucks." And then, I screwed up, and I got 2 of them.
Nick Swartzen did the same thing. We were sitting at the Loon, and he bought one. We were 0.14, and he's like, "I'm going to get one of these." I'm like, "All right, man, you do that."
Well, they have the you get the brick itself that's there outside of U.S. Bank Stadium, but then they give you another brick that you can keep at your house. Well, I was like, oh, okay.
How many times have you wanted to throw that brick through the TV? I feel like that is a risky play right there to have an actual Vikings brick.
Working on Sundays, it's the most sober I've ever been on Sundays.
Yeah, it's a great point.
17 years worth of that. So.
That's true. It's A+.
So Saucy, what did you get? You've been teasing this Costco story for
2 hours, literally 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we're walking through Costco. I am the worst at those places because I'll just grab whatever, right? I'm from the Chris Hockey school, right? If you can fit it in the cart, put it in the cart. So we walk by these things and I'm like, man, those look really good. What are those? They're called
big knockers.
They are. Yeah.
They sell them there. I gotta get a membership.
They sell these things called Muddy Bites, and they are the bottom of a sugar cone or a cake sugar cone filled with either chocolate.
The waffle cone.
Oh, I see the waffle cone. Yes.
Whatever it is.
The bottom of the waffle cone.
With peanut butter in it.
Yeah. The little
Outstanding.
Comes up with
I don't know,
this?
but they're
bottom of them?
Yeah,
it's just the bottom of the cone. Correct.
Guns cat bottoms. Yeah.
So good.
Without having to eat through all the, I like ice cream, but I don't want all those calories.
The drumsticks are so good.
But then when you eat 15 of them, like they have Thin Mint flavors.
Soaking wet.
Rosie.
Are you auditioning for my 600-pound life?
Oh, they're so good. And we brought them home. I'm like, yeah, it was a pretty good. I had one, and then I had half the bag. They're elite, man. They've, they're so good. Cookies and cream, outstanding.
Stupid question. They were. Stupid question. These are frozen, right? Or
no. They're like
just like little.
It's like the peanut butter pretzels, except it's it's just the bottom of a cone,
waffle, though, right?
Oh, baby.
With peanut butter.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they're outstanding. And they have the costume.
Yay.
Yeah.
Couple Minnesota milligrams and all.
Couple of jazz cabbage.
You're going through that whole jug.
All of it.
So good. Yeah. So highly recommend those. Rosie sounds stoned enough to eat them. Let's do some sports.
It's time for Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around, your TimberTech deck building contractor.
Thank you, Maxo. The Minnesota the Minnesota Timberwolves will open the Western Conference Finals on the road tomorrow night at 7:30 against OKC, who smoked Denver last night, 125-93. OKC is minus 330 to win the series. The Wolves are plus 265 to win the series, and the Thunder are 7.5-point favorites in Game 1 starting tomorrow night.
Wow. I'm pretty surprised by that, considering the fact that they just played. And the Wolves have also, I think, over the last 2 playoff runs, there's something like 10-3 on the road. So it might actually be a silver lining, a little bit of a blessing in disguise. They might be a little bit more locked in going into that Oklahoma City arena, which is just going to be absolutely insane. If you've watched any of those playoff games, man, those fans show we love our fans here, but they're giving us a run for the money. They're the best fans in all of American team sports. It's incredible, the atmosphere in that Oklahoma City arena.
Max, I'm not a basketball guy at all, but anytime it's the playoffs, it doesn't matter. It could be pick up sticks with your butt cheeks. I'm going to watch it just because, well, they must be the best at this. But what is the matchup like for the Wolves taking on OKC? Is this a good matchup for us, or is it?
This is the least ideal matchup, I would say, in all of the Western Conference play. Like when the Western Conference playoffs started, you're like, let's hope that LA or Memphis or Denver or someone could take care of OKC for us so we wouldn't have to deal with it, because this is the team they were the standard of excellence all throughout the regular season. The Western Conference was a dogfight 2 through 10. OKC was chilling up top. I think they were up like by 13, 14 games between them and the second seed. What did you say, Saucy? They only lost like 13 games?
14. They lost 14 all season.
All season long.
68-14.
I mean, this is a franchise they stockpiled their picks. They did the whole tanking thing right, and they turned this thing around real quick, and they still have something like I think they have like 13, 14 picks, first round picks over the next couple of years. It's insane. They're going to be good for a really long time.
And they could add Giannis. That's the kind of
they could add anyone. Yeah, they could Jokic, any of these guys that are going to be available. They could add any of them, but it doesn't look like they need them right now because they're in the Western Conference Finals just like us. They're 4 wins away from going to the NBA Finals. And either way, all the 4 teams that remained, Pacers never won an NBA championship, I don't believe. New York Knicks haven't won since 1971, and then the Thunder and the Wolves have never won either. So this is just good for the NBA in general. It's the 2 best teams in the Western Conference, if you ask me, and they're duking it out. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But man, this is a deep team, and this is a whole different caliber of team than the Wolves have faced thus far.
And despite OKC having 68 wins during the regular season, the Wolves did manage a 2-2 split with them. But SGA had scoring outputs of 37, 39, and 40 in 3 of the 4.
Yikes.
So it's obviously, with the Wolves being fully healthy, hopefully, because we haven't seen their A game, if they can get it together and again play up to their competition, this is, to your point earlier on Oklahoma City radio, they're definitely not excited about this matchup either.
No. So I was going to ask you, Max, let's be honest. every team that we would have faced in the Western Conference Finals is going to have a player that's going to score 35-40.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not going to be there as a team if you don't have an A-plus guy, right?
Right. That's just how the NBA works.
That's just how the NBA works. So it's not the fact that I'm worried about SGA. It's just that we have to have consistently our bench show up.
That's the thing.
Now, how does OKC's depth look compared to ours?
They have some pretty good depth, man. I mean, they got Alex Caruso. That was kind of the missing piece that they got over the last couple of years is Alex Caruso. Is a excellent. I mean, they got him to be a wing defender, but as me and Saucy were talking about earlier, he was a Jokic stopper last night. As much as you can be a Jokic stopper, because obviously that's a loaded statement. He's one of the best players, if not the best player in the NBA. So they have a bunch of dogs, man. Like this is a really deep team, and this is a team like we talked about earlier that we're not going to have a clear-cut size advantage like we did against the Golden State Warriors and like we did against the LA Lakers. So it's going to be tough. It's strength for strength between these two teams.
And the Thunder have outscored their opponents by 8.7 points per game in the restricted area, where the Wolves have outscored their opponents by 7.4 points per game in the restricted area. So it's in that regard, it's going to be somewhat evenly matched.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so it is really going to come down to depth, which does not play well to the Wolves. They are a deep team compared to the others we've faced, but not against OKC.
Well, but we've also gotten pretty lucky because the other teams, like you said, have been not as deep and haven't had the offensive firepower to keep up with the Wolves defense either way. So like we need the real Naz Reid to show up. He's been a little spotty throughout the playoffs. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, obviously his struggles. Dante especially, we're gonna need a guy to hit some threes. And Dante's been showing up defensively. He has contributed to this team a lot in a lot of other ways besides offense, but we need him to start hitting those threes. We cannot have these slow starts that we've been having in this playoffs.
100%.
Because like we talked about earlier, this OKC team was down 10, 11, 12 points earlier in that game, and they won by what? I mean, they were up by 40 at one point. It was a 50-point swing. So that's how fast this Oklahoma City team can flip the script, especially when they're at home.
So one of my major concerns in Max and Sauce, I'll bounce this off both of you guys because you guys pay attention a lot more than I do, but the eye test to me, I have no stats to back this up, but the eye test to me is we have very inconsistent point guard play. It doesn't matter who's bringing the ball up. It could be Conley, it could be DiVincenzo, it could be Ant. But to get our offense in a flow to pass the ball around, to get the open shot, or to make a clean pass, how many turnovers have we had just from the point?
Yeah, a ton.
It's a ton.
You have to avoid that.
You have to avoid that. And the thing is, like, that kind of drives me crazy is we're this deep in the season, and we still don't have a consistent guy that can bring the ball up the court to set up our offense for 4 quarters.
Yeah, that is what Oklahoma City feasts on. That's how they took that game from Denver last night, is they just Joker get the ball and they just cover him right when he got the ball, and he'd give it up and they would just attack on the other end. This is just, you got to play your game. You have to, as we've said, the thing about this Wolves team is when they are playing well, and they've won 8 playoff games. It's not like they did get lucky and not have to face Steph, but they still would have won that series even with Steph.
Right.
They just have to bring the fight, and they have to play an A game. You're going to lose if you bring your B game. You just are. This team will smother you if you bring your B game. So you got to play your best basketball of the season, and if you do, you will, it's a weird sentence, you'll play in the NBA Finals.
Let's go. They're 4 wins away.
Correct. It's unbelievable.
But that's one of the things. It is a thing that the Wolves don't have, like, the most consistent point guard play. Obviously, Mike Conley's not the youngest guy in the world, but he's been great in the spots that he's been allowed to shine throughout this playoff so far. He has contributed a lot, especially in that Golden State series. But that's one thing the Wolves do. It's a weakness and a strength because they have multiple guys that can do the playmaking and the table setting in Anthony Edwards, in Mike Conley, who I am a little bit worried about where you're going to hide Mike Conley when he's on the court defensively. That's going to be a tough thing for Chris Finch. But I'd imagine it's going to be similar to the rest of the playoffs where Dante's coming in pretty early on there. But we have Anthony Edwards, we have Julius Randle, we have Dante, we have Mike Conley. We have multiple guys that can set the table. And as we've talked about many, many times, this Wolves team, yes, Anthony Edwards is the straw that stirs the drink or whatever you want to say, but it's not, our wins are not predicated on Anthony Edwards scoring 50 points.
No,
and neither are the
not.
Thunders. These are teams that do their best when there's 5, 6, 7 guys in double digits when the ball is moving a lot. And that's the Wolves. They got to make sure that they don't. The worst version of the Wolves is when they start playing one-on-one hero ball. That's the worst version of most teams, but especially we've seen this Wolves team.
They turn the ball over.
Yeah. They start devolving into that their old ways where they just start. Everybody's like, all right, I'm going to save the game. No, you got to share the ball. You got to share the rock. You got to keep everybody involved in one way or another because everybody's got to stay hot because you don't know whose turn it's going to be the hero against a team like the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Go figure. The one thing that really stands out for me when I put on ESPN, on ESPN.com, is Joker saying the next couple of days is going to be a lot of beer, probably.
Yeah, man, of course.
So he's just going to hit some garage beers. I love that guy now. All of a sudden.
Yeah, Joker's great.
He might be out of there in Denver. You never
really?
know. That was the rumor when the Mike Malone thing was happening. There's just been a lot of internal strife and turmoil. So
it's going to be you
never know.
It's going to be an insane offseason for the NBA. There's going to be a lot of people on the move.
It could be greasy for sure.
Thanks, Crease. You're the best.
I love you guys.
Thanks,
you.
Crease.
Go to my website, johncreasel.com. Book me for a speaking engagement. I will see you guys next Friday.
Love you. Enjoy your break. Thanks for everything you do. Yeah. All right, you're the best, John. We'll come back. We'll do some Vikings news. There's a couple of rules the NFL is going to talk about right here in the Twin Cities. We'll get Ben's thoughts on that and all the other stuff right here on The Fan.
The Fan.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is telling everyone, let's face it in therapy. By talking or texting with a supportive, licensed therapist at Talkspace, you can face whatever is holding you back, whether it's mental health symptoms, relationship drama, past trauma, bad habits, or another challenge that you need support to work through. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a provider, typically within 48 hours. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make your mental health a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
It's time for Vikings news on the Power Trip, presented by
Redco, your truck accessories pro.
Obviously, Ben, like 4 or 5 days ago, the schedule came out. We all know what it is. But your Vikings open Monday Night Football in Chicago. How tough is that for a rookie quarterback?
I mean, it's challenging for sure. It's not going to be easy, but there's going to be a lot of figuring out. I mean, I would not be surprised if the first half is a little shaky because there's not much to watch as far as film because they have a whole new staff there. We don't really know exactly what they're going to be doing. I mean, of course we have a good game plan because we have a philosophical thing that we can go off of how like they want to play offense and defense. But until they actually plug in their own players and see how they play, obviously it's going to be a little bit of just like, if we didn't expect this on third down or we didn't expect that on first down, whatever. It's challenging, but I think for the same token that we talk about how tough the schedule is for us, I'm a firm believer that all those same teams that are looking at their schedules are looking at us as opponents and being like, shoot, man, the Vikings going to be a tough out.
Yeah.
For sure. Man, so I think that there's so much dysfunction already within that Bears organization.
Like the Caleb Williams
the
bit.
Caleb
How
stuff.
about that?
They're
going to play for the Vikes or didn't want to play for the Bears specifically.
Play for Chicago. And, they're going to get into Monday night too. And they're going to say like, well, we know what B-Flow does on defense, but look at the players that they added. How are they going to play in this scheme?
Good point.
They're going to have to stop the run for sure because that seems like that's probably going to be Ben Johnson's plan. For sure. Like he did in Detroit.
Yeah, he's going to run the football. He's going to be physical. He's going to have backs that can catch out of the backfield. They're going to be creative, all those things. But the thing that makes me so excited, not only just about game one, and I know that's going to be a challenge. I mean, opening up on prime time on any season is going to be a little challenging. But I'm a firm believer that we're going to be a tough out no matter what. because we have new pieces. We have an aggressive style of offense and defense as well that we're never going to be out of any game.
And don't you think, Ben, in the grand scheme of things, I know the Vikings schedule is really tough, but like if you couldn't ask for a better kind of ramp up into a tough schedule,
correct, between
Bears and Falcons, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
and the Bengals, who always get off to a slow ass start.
Right, exactly. So it's like there's a lot of tough teams on here, but you'd rather start with those type of teams rather than the Ravens coming to town on week 1.
Well, I know that's the thing. I think all the way up to the bye week, I think it works out pretty nicely. I mean, there's going to be tough games. Obviously, we got some primetime games, and we don't really know what we have out of JJ yet. And this team is going to obviously go like every team as the quarterback goes. But I like the way that our first 5 games match up. Getting Pittsburgh and Cleveland on the road in a neutral site, I think is awesome. And having an early bye is awesome to figure everything out, to self-scout, to go back and do all those things and, make the little tweaks as you get into the meat of the schedule. Now, again, weeks 7 through 13?
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
I was just going to mention that because, obviously the Dublin game and then London game sucks for me because that's an 8:30 kickoff. That means 6:30 for the pregame. That means 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm waking up.
Yeah,
not
good.
Enough about me.
That's way too early. Why are you getting up that early? Where do you live?
I live in Savage. I live in the Vag.
Whoa,
Savage.
Talk about it.
Oh,
Savage.
Oh yeah, it's very lovely. Anyway, no, but the week 6. Bye week, that bugs me a little bit because, because now you give a good point. Well, let's see what we got, and then we can reassess. But now you got to go the rest of the season, and that is a grind with that schedule. So you got to go the rest of the season without a bye. I mean, you're going to get like some of those mini buys because you're going to have games that are going to be on Thursdays,
2 Thursday night games,
yeah,
which helps.
It does help, but. Ultimately, that's going to be a struggle on the backside of this season.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that the self-scouting and going back to look at the last 5 or the first 5 games and to see how JJ handles some of these situations and how KOC is calling some of these plays, I'm hoping that trumps all of the things that you're talking about.
Yeah,
I mean, you're gonna have rough stretches no matter what. If you have a late bye. I mean, the same thing can be said on the front end. It's like, man, you go from training camp and then you don't get a break until week 13. Like, that's a long time, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it really is like you're trying to thread a needle sometimes, I think, when we talk about bye weeks of like everybody wants that mid-season bye. But if you get a late bye, I can make the argument that like, man, that's not good for this team either because we need time to figure our team out. We have so many new pieces. If guys get beat up, they get no time to rest. And then if you fall behind early in the season, well, then all hope is lost after the bye if you have a late bye anyway. You're like, well, then December is just dead because we got off to a slow start and we fell behind. So, I'm trying to find the silver linings. I think the early bye is going to be good for us.
I like where you're going with
it.
Did you as a player like the early bye or later bye like more when you were playing?
I mean, I think it all depends. It's different every year. Sometimes you go into a training camp and you're a little nicked up or you get nicked up in training camp and you just got to like suffer through. And then you're like, man, we don't have a bye week until week 12. And you're like, I don't know how mentally and physically I'm going to get through this. And then other years, it's the opposite, and I think part of it is as a veteran, you always kind of want that later bye. Because as a rookie and a young guy, you go from, OTAs and all checking in April and all the stuff. Like it's a really long time to mentally be on. And when you're just trying to figure it out as a young player. So it's mentally exhausting. So you kind of want that early bye. But veterans are kind of like, oh, we get it. It's not too emotionally taxing out of me to go through OTAs and mini camp and even maybe the first part of training camp. As a vet, it's not that bad.
The vets are going to hate the 2 weeks over across the pond. Don't you think?
Maybe.
Yeah. Oh, we love our kids. We just want to miss them every once in a while. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly what I'm saying. If you've got a young family, yes, I think for some it's going to be a little difficult when you have kids that are in activities and stuff like that. But if you've if you've got young kids and you're not getting much sleep at home, those 10 days away are going to be everything.
You know, Hon, I think I'm going to spend the bye week in Dublin as well. Right. I've heard Amsterdam is lovely this time of year.
I mean, it's the best time of year. I can't wait for it to happen. And this is one of those schedules where we thought the same thing last year. I said multiple times and bet Chris Hockey they would basically start 1-5 or 0-5 or 1-4 or 0-5, right? On paper, last year's schedule looked just as daunting. They had the Niners. They had a really tough go
early on. Yeah,
early on.
Sure, yeah. Yep.
I mean, the Bears are whatever. The Falcons are terrible. The Bengals always get off to a slow start.
Right.
Who knows who's going to be the quarterback of the Steelers? That team's fine.
Or Cleveland.
Browns
or Cleveland,
terrible,
right?
Yeah.
So you have a chance. I mean, you have a chance to start 4-1, 5-1. Like you have a really good chance at this is the short week into LA after playing the Eagles at home. That's going to be tough. Then you go on the road to the Lions and you welcome in Baltimore, who's always a hot team. Like, there's that 4-game stretch. But then you get to play the Bears again. Then you go to Green Bay. You go to Seattle. You get to host the Commanders and maybe a sophomore slump in that with Jaden. Then you go on and you play the most overrated team in sports, the Cowboys. Then you get to go and play the Giants, who might have a new head coach by then. That's a disaster. Then you host the Lions on a Thursday night on Christmas Day, and then you get to host the Packers at home. You don't have to play a lot of. I mean, you look at this schedule. I looked at this when it came out. Other than going on the road to the Giants, which will probably be weird weather, from you don't play a tough outdoor game of the 5 games in January and December, other than going to the Giants. Commanders games here, Cowboys games inside, Giants is outside, and the last 2 games are both inside. You luck out with that.
Yeah, the weather's not going to be a factor for this team this year.
No,
it shouldn't. And even if you have one tough game and it happens to be at MetLife Stadium at the end of December, big deal.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't play in one, maybe, cold rain or snowy or cold temperatures, then you're just not built to be a championship football team. So yeah. I'm not too concerned about the schedule, the location of all these things. It's just going to be the meat of the schedule. How can we get through that? And can we become a hardened championship level team getting through that gauntlet of teams? Because they're all very physical. Philadelphia is going to be super physical. Mm-hmm. The Chargers under Harbaugh, they're going to want to run the football.
All 4 of those teams are going to want to run the ball.
We all know the Lions are going to be physical. We know the Ravens are going to be physical. And then by week 11, we have the Bears at home again. And I'm going to guess that, all faith in Ben Johnson, he'll figure it out. Like, that team will probably figure itself out and be more physical. The one thing about the Bears, let's not sleep on their defense. The defense is what kept them afloat.
Yes.
I know that Eberflus got fired, but he's a hell of a defensive coordinator. And the way that they built talent on that whole defensive side, they're really, really good. So, they're going to be a tough out. So again, then we got to go back to Seattle for this 59th year in a row.
Which always.
Why every year?
Why?
Yeah. That actually could be the greasiest game from a weather standpoint, just because it could be late November. It could be rainy and windy.
That'll be greasy.
Yeah, that'll be greasy.
But as you just said, Ben, the word you used over and over again was physical. That's what this team got in the off season.
Yeah, both sides.
The offensive line, and then adding who they added to the defensive line. That's what this team did. So this is why they got physical. They needed to be. Those last 2 games were hideous. The interior of the offensive line folded in both of those games.
Yeah,
just bad. And they went out and they drafted Donovan Jackson with the 24th overall pick. They brought in Ryan Kelly and they brought in Will Fries. They spent a ton of money and draft picks on the interior of that offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, they cut what's-his-face, Bradbury, who a lot of guys on that offensive line really liked.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And they just moved on.
Yeah.
And, they have their left tackle who, when he's playing, he's maybe the best left tackle in football. And Brian O'Neill is a stud right tackle, right? So this could be one of the best offensive lines in football. But the question mark is the rookie quarterback, right?
It'd be nice to actually watch the Vikings play a little bully ball.
Yeah, what's helped the Wolves, right? To go full circle, the Wolves play bully ball now, and they're going to play in the Western Conference Finals.
Right, yeah, because we've been nothing but speed and, vertical. But now actually be able to get in there and play some bully ball, that'd be pretty sweet to watch.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the teams that made it the furthest this last year, and it's not just this last year. I mean, it's not knee-jerk reaction, just what happened with last year, but even the year before, the trend again is if you want to make a deep run in the playoffs, you have to be able to run the football.
Yeah.
You can win games in the regular season by airing it out, throwing 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's great. It's sexy. It's fun. You can win football games. But if you want longevity and you want to win tough playoff football games and be a championship team, you have to be able to run the football, not just as a cutesy, we're just going to hand the ball off to set up play action. No. You really need to be physical. I mean, Washington's a physical running football team.
Can KO put his mindset there? That's going to be the big question, because how often did we even talk about it last season where wow, he went away from the run real quick.
Yeah. I definitely think so. I mean, I think the mentality shift for sure is already there. I mean, just as Sauce was saying, you bring up the guys that they brought in. They're not bringing those guys in to kick step backwards 50 times a game, right?
No, they're going forward.
You bring those guys in, for attitude and for getting downhill. And
God, I love a kick step.
Don't you love a good kick step?
Man.
How often when you're doing garage beers, you just kick step?
Why are you kick stepping?
Oh, just pretending that I'm out there on the right, and just kick step out. Here we go. Come on. Oh, you don't even pretend.
No. Well, we saw your high school film, Sauce. There wasn't a whole lot of kick steps.
No, there was not. I hated the kick step.
There wasn't a whole lot of stepping. No,
I'm not sure it's no surprise he didn't know what a kick step was.
This will shock all of you. I didn't go down in a 3-point stance. I always was in the pass. The pass points every time.
It's too far down.
It's a stylistic thing.
Yeah, correct. No, I was too fat, too lazy. They all do it.
Yeah, now they all do it.
None of them go down in the 3-point stance.
But you had a good anchor, so that's good.
I did. Yeah, all 330 of me. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Wolves and the Thunder series. We'll talk about why Muss is now in love with the golf bet. All kinds of things, and then about 40 minutes from now, AP Sports Guy will join to break down the Thunder Wolves series, Game 1 tomorrow at 7:30.
Discover the life-changing benefits of Meow Greens for your cat. Ever see your cat slowing down or having health issues and wonder, what can I do to make them better? Well, my friend, add Meow Greens to your cat's food for 90 days, and I guarantee you'll see changes that will amaze you. Greetings, I'm naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, inventor of Meow Greens, and I invite you to take the Meow Greens 90-day challenge. In the first 30 days, you'll see shinier coats and increased energy. By day 60, your cat will have a stronger immune system, less shedding, improved joint function, all due to the live nutrients that you've added to their diet. And at 90 days, they're going to have better digestion, reduced inflammation, improved heart health, and you may even have reduced their cancer risk. Fetch a free Jumpstart trial bag for your cat today. Go to trymeowgreens.com. Use promo code TRYMEOW. That's try MEOW. You discover the shipping. You don't have to change your cat's food to improve your cat's health. Just add a packet of Meow Greens.